acting like a child.
Just a minute. All right, Mr. Pincus, let's have your story.
Well, I've been married for 19 years.
Skip all that. Skip that.
Wait. Jacoby, take those handcuffs off the boys. That wasn't at all necessary.
Well, I was just going to.
Well, I can't tell you how badly I feel about this, Burns. There was no excuse for Jacoby flying off the handle and putting you under arrest.
Well, I was only doing my duty. There wasn't anything personal intended.
Listen, you guys had better quit politics and take in washing.
Jacoby, this document is authentic. Earl Williams, thank heaven, has been reprieved. And the Commonwealth of Chicago has been spared the painful necessity of shedding blood.
Go on, you chiseling heel. You'd hang your own mother to win an election.
Hildy!
Peggy, Peggy, darling.
Hildy, what's the matter? What are they going to do? Mother said...
Peggy, don't bore me out now. Nobody's going to do anything to anybody.
Why, of course not. My good friend Walter Burns and I understand each other perfectly. I trust.
Sure. Everything's okay, Sheriff.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Thank you. Come on, Jacoby. Come on, Pincus. We've got to deliver that reprieve.
Wait till those two birds read the paper tomorrow. Ellie, tell him what I want you to do. What? I want you to get this guy Pincus up at the office tomorrow. Nothing doing, Waller. I'm all washed up. I mean it this time.
Hildy, if I only thought you did.
Listen, Peggy, I'm telling you the absolute truth. I'm going to New York with you tonight, if you give me this last chance. I'll cut out drinking and swearing and everything connected with the newspaper business. I won't even read a newspaper. Listen, Hildy, I've got a great idea. There's nothing you can say can make me change my mind. This time I'm through and I mean it. I know I don't deserve you, Peg. I've done everything in the world to prove that, I guess.
Oh, Hildy, please, now don't say things like that.
I've got a rotten nerve to ask you to marry me. I'm a prize package, all right. But if you take me, here I am.
Darling, don't talk that way. I just want you the way you are.
Peggy.
Oh, Hildy, I didn't notice anything like this. Why don't you say something? I'd be the last person in the world to want to come between you and your happiness. Why? You ought to know that. I love you, you crazy Swede. You're getting a great guy, Peggy.
Never mind the Valentines. Goodbye, you big bohunk.
You're a great newspaper man, Hildy. I'm sorry to see you go.
Well, if I ever come back to the business, which I won't, there's only one man I'd work for, and you know that, don't you?
I'd kill you if you ever worked for anybody else.
Hear that, Peggy? That's my diploma. Well, Burns, I don't know what to say, except that I'm going to miss you like blazes.
Same here, Hildy.
Hildy, if I thought you were going to be unhappy, I mean, if you really wanted to. No, it's your chance to have a home and be a human being, and I'm going to make you take it.
Well, I wouldn't let him stay. Go on, Hildy, before I make you city editor.
Hurry up, Peggy. He means it.
What time's your train go?
Well, there's another one about 12:40.
New York Central, eh? I wish there was a time to get you a little wedding present. It's awful short notice. Here, take my watch, Hildy.
Oh, no, Burns.
Shut up. You're going to take it, I tell you. This watch is a present of the big chief himself. And if you look inside, you'll find a little inscription. To the best newspaper man I know. When you get to New York, you can have my name scratched out and your own put in.
I wouldn't do that, and you know I wouldn't. This is too good for me. I can't take it.
You've got to.
Go on, Hildy. Take the watch if Mr. Burns wants you to. You don't want to hurt his feelings.
Well, this is the first and last thing I ever got from a newspaper.
Goodbye, Mr. Burns. I always had a queer opinion of him, Mr. Burns. I still think you're a little peculiar, but you're all right underneath. I mean, I think you're a peach.
So are you, Peggy. You look just like a little flower.
Come on, Peggy. Goodbye, you big baboon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Johnson. Be good to yourself. And the little girl.
The same to you and many of them.
Hello, Duffy. Walter Burns, listen. I want to send a wire to the chief police of LaPorte, Indiana. That's right. Tell him to meet the 1240 out of Chicago, New York Central. And arrest Hildy Johnson and bring him back here. Why? I'll tell you why. The squint-eyed weasel stole my watch.
And so we complete the last page of the front page and devote the next few moments to a meeting with Kathleen Howard, editor and actress. Starting her career as an opera singer, Miss Howard was a favorite throughout Europe for several seasons prior to her debut at the Metropolitan Opera Company, where she sang for 12 years. Turning author, she contributed to many national magazines, became fashion editor of Harper's Bazaar and president of the fashion group. A desire to act brought her to Hollywood, where she played opposite W.C. Fields in 3 pictures. Much of her time, however, is spent as fashion editor of Photoplay magazine. And in this capacity, she comes to us now. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Kathleen Howard.
Thank you, Mr. DeMille. Hollywood fashions are growing more and more important. Almost every week, some prominent visitor from the East comes out to investigate them. Most of them are kind enough to come and chat with me. They're all struck with one thing, the thousands of costumes that make up the wardrobe departments of our leading studios. Many of these costumes, I tell them, are not new. Some of them may be 2 or 3 years old, but they look like new because, as most of the world knows, Hollywood takes care of its wardrobe with Lux Flakes. Lux means light, according to the Latin, and the wardrobes of our famous studios are certainly alight with cleanliness. An odd fact is that when I go to the homes of the stars to ask them to pose for me in their private wardrobes for my color page, they frequently tell me that they haven't any clothes. At first, I thought this was just a polite way of saying, "Oh, don't bother me just now, Miss Howard." But I found out that it's often literally true, and it's so understandable. You see, when you're on a picture, you fuss and fuss all day about your hair and your makeup and your clothes. And when you have a few precious days of leisure, you revel in tossing all that overboard, in becoming an ordinary individual in the adored privacy of your own home.
What's your answer, Miss Howard, to the ancient question? Do women dress for men or for other women?
I think women dress for men and against women. That is, they dress to please men and to disarm the criticism of other women. However, the primary purpose in showing fashions in photoplay is to give the fans a chance to copy the styles of their favorites. In doing this, it is advisable for girls to find out first what type of screen star they resemble. Long ago, I divided girl types of beauty into 2 basic categories, the kitten and the fox. The kitten type, roughly speaking, if one may speak roughly of these charming girls, is represented by Janet Gaynor and Claudette Colbert, the short face with a small, piquant nose. The fox type is the longer face with a straight nose, like Joan Crawford or Merle Oberon. The fox type looks best in sophisticated, tailored clothes, while the kitten may do very well indeed by going fluffy and feminine if she wants to, and all will be forgiven.
What have you to say about fashions for fall?
Oh, just a note of warning. Fashion shows a huge range of choice for the coming fall, with many amusing, whimsical notes stressed. Hats are crazier than ever. Delightful, but crazy. So, unless you have an unlimited budget, the best plan is to go safe, sane, and simple at first, and add the highlights later. If you hear that the low waistline is coming back, don't shudder and think that we're going back to the badly proportioned silhouette of 1926. This time it will be much cleverer, and there's nothing to be afraid of. And now, till we meet again in Photoplay, all my thanks.
Thank you, Miss Howard. We now present a Lux Radio Theatre Extra, headlining our headliners, Walter Winchell and Josephine Hutchinson. In reading the criticisms of your last picture, Wake Up and Live, the critics all agree on one point, Walter, that your performance was the first genuine portrayal on the screen of what reporters are really like.
What do you mean, my last picture? That wasn't an eye job, Mr. DeMille. That was a we job. The big credit should go to screenwriters Curtis Kenyon, Harry Tugand, and Jack Yellen.
You know, most of us think that the prototype of all police reporters is Hildy Johnson.
That's not quite true, Joe. Not many of us kind are left anymore. I mean the old swashbucklers. Most of them are now working on their second million, having given up all thought of ever acquiring the first.
It's interesting, I think, to look back on the names of those who were in the front page when they played on Broadway. 9 of them have since come out to Hollywood. Lee Tracy, Osgood Perkins, Alan Jenkins, Willard Robertson, Joseph Calleja, Dorothy Stickney, George Barbier, Eduardo Cianelli, and Francis Fuller.
A barrel of genius there. But what can you tell us, Walter, of your 2 friends who wrote the play, Ben Hect and Charles MacArthur?
Hect and MacArthur are both ex-Chicago police reporters, Mr. DeMille. They started the front page to belittle the newspaper craft. They found they couldn't do it. To quote them, the front page is a valentine thrown to the past, a ballad full of love. Hect used to be a roadshow acrobat. He changed his mind and turned violinist. Changed his mind again and became a reporter. He's got a habit of carrying a torch for mankind. Harry Hansen calls him the Pagliacci of the fire escape. MacArthur, husband of Helen Hayes, is the son of a minister and studied for the pulpit himself. With Hect, he's written such other hits as 20th Century and several great pictures, including The Scoundrel, the Academy Award winner, which they also produced. An orchid, then, to a couple of the ablest craftsmen of our time.
Now, just one more question, Walter, which all Hollywood is anxious to hear the answer. Have you swapped Broadway for Hollywood Boulevard, or are you going back to New York?
Of course I'm going back, Josephine, just as soon as I finish the next picture, probably in October. It's called Love and Hisses, with the last two syllables dedicated, of course, to Ben Burney. And now to you, James Gleason, and to you, Josephine Hutchinson, thanks for a very fine lesson in acting.
Speaking for myself, it's the other way round. And special thanks to you, Mr. DeMille, and the Lux Radio Theatre.
Let's hope you'll be back here in a flash with a smash. Mr. Winchell, Miss Hutchinson, our thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your announcer, Melville Ruick. Our play and stars for next week will be revealed in just a moment by Mr. DeMille. Tonight's cast included John Butler as Wilson, Frank Sheridan as Sheriff, Georgia Kane as Mrs. Grant, Edward Marr as Murphy, Victor Rodman as Bensinger, Lou Merrill as Swartz, Matt Moore as Kruger, Eddie Waller as Jacoby, Rolf Sedan as Pincus, Sidney Newman as Diamond Louis, Bud McTaggart as Earl Williams, and Ross Forrester and Frank Nelson as police officers. We thank the Andrew Juergens Company for Mr. Winchell's appearance this evening. Miss Hutchinson appeared through courtesy of Metro Goldwyn Mayer Studios. James Gleason, RKO, where his new picture is entitled 40 Naughty Girls. Mr. DeMille is from Paramount, and Mr. Silvers, 20th Century Fox, where he was in charge of music for Shirley Temple's new picture, Wee Willie Winkie. And here is our producer. There are stars in the heavens and plays in the theater whose brilliance time cannot dim. Such a play we present next Monday night. A tender romance made famous by Richard Mansfield. Many of you saw it on the stage or screen. All of you will have a chance to hear it 1 week from tonight when the Lux Radio Theatre offers Beau Brummel, starring Robert Montgomery with Madge Evans, Leo G. Carroll, Bramwell Fletcher, and Jean and Kathleen Lockhart. As guest of honor, if she arrives in time, Miss Amelia Earhart will give us the highlights of her amazing flight around the world, which she is now completing. The makers of Lux Flakes join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theatre presents Robert Montgomery in Beau Brummel with Madge Evans and an all-star Hollywood cast. Our prospective guest, Amelia Earhart. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.